Hi guys, it's AnnK, and I'm going to be giving you guys a very brief and short lesson on watercolor painting. I'm going to be showing you guys all the tools and materials that you're going to need to do my class. So the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need some watercolor paints. There's two types of watercolor paints out there. I prefer using the discs or the pucks. It's dry. I can usually throw this into my escargot bag and with all my other stuff, and I can take this on the go with me. This is compact for me. You can get kits that are a little bit smaller. The other paint that you can get in watercolor are tubes, and tubes is more of a wet watercolor, and you want to put it down on a palette. I would probably recommend, if you are going to be using wet tubes, that you take a flat ceramic dish and put some tin foil over top of it, and that way you can mix your wet colors, and then you can put some saran wrap over top of it and push it out to the side, and you can keep it that way. If you're starting out, I recommend that you get just a basic starter kit just to see if you like it or not. Watercolor, they can range in prices from an entire kit being for about $20, and you can get super expensive, and you can get up to $50, $60, even $100 for the paint. Start basic. I would probably just say you just need like a $20 to $30 watercolor set. Sometimes if you buy them in the sets, they actually come with everything that you're going to need already, such as brushes and maybe even a pad of watercolor papers. If this is something that you're seriously going to be tempting and trying to improve, I suggest that you spend a little bit more extra money and you get a really nice set with a whole bunch of different shades of colors. You're going to need brushes. Okay, I have years and years and years and years of brushes saved up, collected over the years. I actually keep them in an old wine gift box. For this project, though, I would probably recommend that you get a medium-sized flat brush, like a square brush, a big fat rounder brush, a nice thin detail brush. So you seriously want to get into, I would recommend getting a few more brushes. Like you can get a nice big square flat brush. You get things like a medium-sized round brush, which is perfect for watercolor. Try to get different sizes. Experiment with what you like and what feels comfortable with you. I hate ripping this paper. You're going to need some watercolor paper. Watercolor paper can either come in flat sheets that you can get at your arts and crafts supply store, or they also come in these little blocks. Watercolor blocks is what they're called, and you usually get a couple of sheets. And there's one corner where there's no glue on it, and it holds the page flat while you work on it. If you're starting out, I recommend getting the pad and trying out the pad. It's good for all your study and techniques, getting yourself warmed up to using the watercolor paper. You can usually get pads from anywhere from $10 to $20. If you're starting out, try to keep it cheap. If you want to get a little bit more advanced with it, you can buy different grades of paper, because watercolor paper, a weight unit on it that tells you the thickness and absorbency of the actual watercolor paper. Other tools and other tools that you're going to need when you do watercolor is you're going to need some paper towels. Paper towels are very important. I recommend you get some inking pens. I use Copics. What can I say? Copics, when it comes to their black liner pens, they're the best. They come in different thicknesses and shapes. Use those sometimes to add in textures or just to highlight certain areas that I'm working in. You're going to need an extra couple of sheets of just scrap paper to put down so you don't get things messy, right? A jar of water. Right, this is to clean your brushes. If you want to get a little bit more advanced, sometimes when I really get into it, I use 2 different jars of water. So basically, I just wet down, wipe off in one jar, and then I use the water from another jar to actually put color to paint to actually apply it to the canvas, just so I'm not contaminating different colors with another shade. That's pretty much all the materials that you're going to need for watercolor.